Chapter 7. I stood in front of the mirror with the blazer buttoned and assessed my appearance. Black dress pants paired nicely with the red and white jacket. It was mostly red, with white snowflakes and tiny reindeer patterned near the bottom. It was a far more stylized version of an ugly sweater, but I found it appealing. Unfortunately, I couldn't decide on a shirt, but I had found the perfect shimmery red silk tie to go with it. Unbuttoning the blazer, I shook out my shoulders and studied my appearance. The white shirt gave it a cleaner Santa feel, but the black silk shirt I was currently modeling made my dark hair look darker. If I didn't shave for the next 2 days and expertly trimmed my 5 o'clock shadow, I could alter the look entirely. The words devilishly handsome came to mind. I hung the blazer up and unbuttoned my shirt, wanting to see what the white one looked like again. It coordinated better with the white patterns on the jacket, but it didn't pop. On a whim, I grabbed a silver shirt from the closet and put that on. It was a fair compromise. It emphasized the white on the jacket while giving me a sleeker, sexier appearance. The silver shimmer made my hair look shinier. Adding a tiny bit more product would complete the look. I rubbed my chin, internally reviewing the pros and cons to the facial hair debate. At times, I suspected Alexis preferred me scruffy, but I worried about irritating her skin, which is why I had all sorts of conditioners and moisturizers. But I'd been told I worried too much. When I heard the alarm beep notifying me someone had triggered the garage door, I took the blazer off, zipped it into an opaque garment bag, and hung it at the back of the closet. Then I hung up the tie and slipped the other 2 shirts I'd tried on back into their rightful places inside my closet. I was in the midst of unbuttoning the silver shirt when she came into the bedroom. "Hey, sweetheart, how was your day?" I asked. She mumbled something and flopped onto the bed. I turned to look at her, unbuttoning the cuffs as I did so. "Is everything okay?" Instead of answering, Alex scrutinized my appearance.
"Were you wearing that this morning?"
"No, I had a mishap with a coffee cup and had to change." She wasn't buying it, but something else was on her mind. She gave me one last look before closing her eyes and covering them with her hands.
"Can you explain to me why Lucian Cross is the biggest asshole on the planet?"
"What did he do now?"
"What didn't he do?"
She exhaled.
"He assigned me a new client. Then he sat in on our first meeting. He gave me a list of leads to follow up on, and he already scheduled a few meetings and interviews for us to go to tomorrow. Us. Not me. Us."
She lifted her hands off her face long enough to look at me.
"If he's so invested in this client or case, why did he bother assigning me to it? He can do it himself, and I can do something else. He's testing me. Or punishing me. Either way, I don't appreciate it. We signed a contract. We agreed. I get case autonomy. This is the furthest thing from case autonomy. It's like he doesn't trust me. By now he should. He said he does, but..."
"You don't like the oversight."
"Would you?"
"Did you tell him that?" She looked at me like I had lost my mind.
"Only 1,000,000 times."
"Maybe he wants to make sure this is a safe situation before he leaves you to take care of it. After everything, it's the least he can do." She rolled onto her stomach and propped her head in her hands.
"Did you peek at your present?"
"What?" That caught me by surprise. She climbed off the bed, scanning my face for the truth.
"You're hiding something."
I grabbed the belt loops on her pants, pulled her to me, and kissed her. "You have a suspicious mind." She continued to scrutinize me like a suspect inside an interrogation room. "Don't do that," I warned.
"What?"
"That." I pointed a finger in her face before stepping back. "You know what I'm talking about. I hate it when you do that."
"Your pulse is fast."
"Alexis, stop." I gave her a stern look while I slipped out of the silver button-up and hung it neatly on a hanger. I didn't look at my gift. I can promise you that. She gave my closet a careful look. I wondered if she knew how many garment bags usually hung in there, so I distracted her with the question that had been on my mind. I was thinking of growing out a beard for a few days.
Tell me you aren't going full-on mountain man.
Hell no.
Are you going to bleach and curl it and go full-on Santa Claus?
You found me out. That's exactly what I had in mind. She wasn't buying the distraction.
We could use more cookies in this house, but you're going to have to strap some pillows to your stomach.
She stepped toward my closet, but I moved in front of her, hoping it was smooth enough that she'd think of it as more of a dance than a defensive maneuver. She narrowed her eyes at me, so I grasped her face and kissed her hard. Breathless, she stumbled back, gave my closet one last look, and said,
I thought we weren't doing gifts this year.
I never agreed to that, and if I did, which I'm not saying ever happened, you broke the agreement first.
So you did peek?
No. But she saw it on my face. I had prepared a story about going into the guest room to look for something, which happened to roll under the bed beside the carefully wrapped gift box. And when I knelt down to retrieve the imaginary thing that rolled under the bed, I happened to see the box. I may have even picked it up and noticed it was light, like a shirt or some other article of clothing. Yeah, she was never going to believe that line of bullshit. She gave my closet another look, and that's when I realized she wasn't looking for her gift, or suspicious I had bought something to wear for the holidays. She was afraid I'd opened my gift and tried it on. If you don't believe me, go downstairs and look, I said. I'm sure whatever it is right where you left it.
It better be.
Chapter 8. As always, Alexis Parker took my breath away. She came down the stairs in an emerald green cocktail dress with strappy silver heels, the diamond necklace I'd given her some time ago, and her hair pinned up, with gorgeous loose ringlets hanging down so haphazardly it looked effortless. But I knew it had taken her a lot of time to perfect that look. Normally, she didn't go through the trouble, but for my office party, she went all out. Instead of wearing the blazer, I'd chosen a snow-white suit jacket, black pants, and a red vest. I tucked my phone away, glad that the party planner was handling all the details. I had enough on my plate with year-end reports, finalizing everything for Q4, and preparing our strategy for the coming Q1. You're stunning, I said. She frowned.
You're missing something.
I patted my pockets. What?
Hang on.
She went into the second-floor guest room and came back with the box she had hidden under the bed.
Open it.
We said we weren't doing gifts, I pointed out. She gave me a yeah, right look.
Open it.
We'll do gifts another night.
This isn't for another night. I bought it for you for tonight.
A smile crept onto my face, and I tore through the shiny green and gold paper. Are you sure? I asked, just before lifting the lid.
Martin, just open it.
I laughed. Annoying her shouldn't be this much fun. Okay. Slowly, I lifted the lid, revealing a candy cane striped tie.
I thought it'd go with your vest. If you don't like it, you don't have to wear it.
I lifted the silky fabric out of the box and held it against my shirt. I love it. Popping my collar, I loosened the knot on my current tie and took it off. She moved closer, looping and knotting the tie for me. My fingers brushed against her sides, and I considered foregoing the party altogether. The party planner hired a ton of people to take care of everything. They didn't need me there. We could stay here and enjoy each other instead.
I didn't spend an hour curling my hair for nothing,
she said, reading my mind. It's not for nothing. I am enjoying it very much, and I will enjoy it even more when it's splayed across my pillow. I gave her a gentle kiss, doing my best not to smudge her lip gloss. Thank you for the tie.
I was afraid you'd think it was tacky.
It's not. It's perfect. I stepped into the bathroom to check my reflection and fix my collar. We don't have to stay all night. We can cut out at a decent hour.
No, we can't. You're hosting. You have to stay through cleanup.
We'll see. I spent most of the night wrapped up in conversation after conversation, but I kept an eye on Alex. She knew the board members and everyone in security. Within the first 45 minutes, she settled in behind the security desk with Jeffrey Myers, MT's head of security, and got caught up in her own conversation. From the looks of it, she may have been discussing advanced security measures or playing computer chess with him. She'd done both in the past. Time flew. Besides a glass of champagne, I stayed away from the libations. Instead, I thanked everyone I saw for whatever role they fulfilled, whether it was a member of the cleaning staff or marketing or R&D. By the time everyone left, leaving only a skeleton crew and the cleanup team the party planner hired, I had no idea where Alex had gone. Last time I saw her, she was bidding Jeffrey goodnight. Taking a wild guess, I took the elevator to the 17th floor and unlocked my office door. Since she had installed the locks, she knew how to get in and out undetected. Some might think that was a security risk, but I found it sexy. She was curled up on the couch. A glass of sparkling cider, which had gone flat, was on the coffee table in front of her. At the sound of the door opening, she looked up.
I hoped you wouldn't mind.
She'd cleaned up the remnants of tinsel and cellophane from the hundreds of gift baskets which had covered every flat surface in my office, from the floors to the furniture.
I figured I'd save you some time since you have enough on your plate.
I have people for that.
I was already here,
she said.
I wanted to do something for you. Clearing away the clutter was the absolute least I could do. I wish you'd tell me what you want.
Her eyes went to my tie.
Besides a tacky tie.
It's not tacky. I moved closer, peering at her phone screen. What are you doing?
Working.
This is a party. You aren't supposed to be working.
You were working.
I was celebrating.
By discussing the projected P&L for next year?
You heard that? She shrugged.
I didn't have to. I know you.
I went to the bar cart and spun a few bottles. What would you like?
Surprise me.
You don't like surprises. But I picked up the bottle of vodka, grabbed her glass of apple cider, and added a splash. Try that. We're going low rent on the appletinis tonight.
You? Low rent? Not possible.
I put the bottle back, poured myself a scotch, and sat down beside her. What are you working on?
That case Lucian assigned me.
She'd been tight-lipped on what it entailed, which always worried me. Do I want to know?
Probably not.
How dangerous? I asked.
It's hard to say. It's stolen property, but the police have little interest in handling it. And it's a weird one.
Weird how? She sipped her drink, swallowing without cringing, which gave me hope it didn't taste as terrible as I thought it might.
Stolen reindeer.
Excuse me?
I said stolen reindeer. Our client had a petting zoo. Someone stole his reindeer.
Were there 8?
How did you know that?
I snorted. 8 tiny reindeer.
I don't think they're tiny. They got hauled away in horse trailers. We've tracked the trailers to a farm upstate. Lucian wants me to coordinate with local law enforcement to find out if that's where our missing reindeer were taken. I was supposed to get a call back, but I haven't heard a word. This isn't exactly a police priority. So I was checking to see if there was any mention of new reindeer or reindeer sightings on the internet or social media. And I found this.
She showed me her screen.
It looks like our thieves set up their own petting zoo with the hot reindeer. Lucian's going to find out if our client had them chipped so we can prove these are the stolen ones.
Did any of them have a red nose? I asked. That is a pretty unique characteristic. She laughed.
I told you this case was ridiculous. That's why I don't know why Lucian was so insistent on being part of it.
He figured it was the only way to get off the naughty list.
I'm pretty sure Lucian likes being on the naughty list.
I smirked. So do I.
Martin.
I sipped my scotch. Admit it. You like it when I'm naughty.
I also like it when you're very nice.
The way she said it left nothing to the imagination. I eyed the glass wall which separated my office from the hallway, but the windows were set to opaque. No one could see inside. I bet I can be both at the same time. I can prove it right now. Her cheeks flushed.
I have a rule about sex in the office.
It's not your office, and breaking rules is part of being naughty. But she wouldn't concede on that issue, so I texted Marcal to pick us up at the front door. In that case, we'll go home, so I can show you just how nice I can be. Her eyes darkened.
You're always very nice.
Which is why I always finish last. Chapter 9. James. Lucian Cross extended his hand. I'm so glad you could make it. I peered around the executive floor of the Cross security offices. Unlike my office party, Cross hadn't splurged on elaborate decorations or catering. I expected he would have, until I realized this wasn't a party for his clients. It was only for his staff. No wonder people were staring at me. Thanks for the invite. I spotted a man surreptitiously eyeing me from across the room. He smiled when he realized he was caught, and toasted in my direction. Can I get you a drink? Cross led me to the bar he'd set up on top of his assistant's desk. Scotch, right? Please. I placed the gift bag I'd been holding on top of the desk. Happy holidays. Cross looked at the bag, confused as to why he was receiving a gift. Well, that wasn't necessary. I wasn't sure of your preference. I took the offered scotch and gave it a tentative sip. It was an 18 Macallan. Cross had done his research. He pulled the bottle of gin out by the neck and read the label. This is excellent. It's what I normally drink. I looked around the room. Where's Alex? Cross frowned. I haven't seen her.
She's hiding in her office,
the man who'd been ogling me said. He extended his hand.
Kellen Day. We've met before.
It's nice to see you again, Kellen. I shook his hand, unsure if Alex had stopped feuding with him.
I'll take you downstairs. It's about time we free our girl from all that work.
Kellen headed for the elevator, glancing back to see if I was coming. We'll catch up later, Cross said. I joined Kellen in the elevator.
$10 says Alex made a break for it the moment the hallways were clear,
Kellen said.
Or she went all Mission Impossible and crawled through the air ducts.
I chuckled. 20 says she rappelled down the side of the building.
Not possible. There's no window in her office.
Shit, that's right. I reached into my pocket, but Kellen put his hand on my wrist, stopping me.
I don't want your money. It was a joke.
I studied him carefully, knowing Alex's issues with him. Do you watch out for her?
As much as she'll let me.
Good man. He turned back to the mirrored doors.
You know, she'd hate you asking me that.
I'm aware.
And yet you asked anyway. You're either very brave or very stupid.
Or I love her too much to care. He grinned, a big, cheesy smile.
You wouldn't happen to have a twin brother, would you?
Sorry.
Not more than I am.
The doors opened, and I stepped out. Kellen tried to follow, but I shook my head. I know the way.
All right.
He retreated deeper into the elevator car.
But if you can't find her, let me know, and I'll help you look.
I went down the familiar hallway and stopped outside Alex's office door. She was behind her desk with the phone to her ear. Another man, Bennett Renner, had pulled up a chair beside her and was scanning the paperwork. "Let me talk to them," Bennett said. "I know how to twist a few arms." She relinquished the phone and glared at the papers. "And you say I'm a workaholic," I said. She turned at the sound of my voice.
"I caught it from you."
"I doubt that, sweetheart." I stepped inside, nodding to Bennett, who waved while he spoke on the phone. "Kellen figured you tried to escape."
"I wish."
She crossed the room toward me, freezing before she kissed me. Instead, I settled for her cheek.
"Did you come here straight from work?"
"Yeah, my meeting ran late. I didn't have time to stop by our apartment and change."
"Have you been upstairs yet?"
she asked.
"This isn't like the MT office party. Cross isn't standing on formality."
"Lots of booze and pizza," Bennett said. "It reminds me of my days working homicide." Whoever was on the other end of that line returned, and he shifted his focus back to the call. I ran my thumb across Alex's cheek, wanting to give her a proper kiss and wondering what she'd do if I did. "I'd think this would be more your speed, so I'm not sure why you're hiding." She shrugged. Even now, she still found it hard to socialize with her coworkers, always fearing she'd lose them. "Why don't you get a drink and some pizza, Alex?" Bennett said, having been put on hold again. "And while you're there, bring me back a couple of slices and a beer."
"Do I look like your assistant?"
she retorted. Bennett winked. "Haven't we had this conversation before? However, if you'd prefer we switch places, I'll let you convince the locals to transport the evidence back to the city." She considered it for a moment.
"Pepperoni?"
she asked. "That, or whatever specialty pizza you can find. Last year, they did this holiday pie. It had peppers, green olives, tomatoes, and pepperoni. Everything was red and green. It was pretty good."
"I'll see what I can find."
She waved him off and dragged me to the door. Once we were alone, she asked,
"This isn't much of a party. As soon as I get this situation taken care of, we can go home."
"Are you sure? They have holiday pizza and a lot of liquor. Cross even cracked open a bottle of Marcal."
"He'd do anything for you."
I snickered. "I bet Kellen would too." She laughed.
"First it was the women, now it's the men. I can't take you anywhere, which is why we are getting out of here the first chance we get."
"It's your office party. Don't you think you should stick around? Socializing is important. I'm here. I can be your buffer."
"I'd rather you be my knight in shining armor."
She batted her eyelashes at me.
"What do you say, handsome? I'll rescue the reindeer, and you rescue me."
"You've always hated that concept."
"Consider it an early present, since you never told me what you wanted."
"But you gave me the tie." I clamped my mouth shut, confused as to why I was arguing. "Are you sure you want me to rescue you? I wouldn't mind getting to know your friends better."
"You know Cross."
She ticked them off on her fingers.
"You've already charmed Kellen, and Bennett waved at you. That's everyone I talk to on a regular basis. There's not much more to know about them than that, so mission accomplished."
The doors opened, and Alex gave the upper level a wary look before locating the stack of pizza boxes.
"I'll get the pizza, you get the drinks, we'll meet back here. Don't talk to anyone else, and avoid making eye contact."
Rolling my eyes, I went back to the bar setup, grabbed a couple of long necks out of the tub of ice, and poured myself another glass of scotch. I spotted Lucian in his office. He had placed his present on the bar cart beside him and was staring at his computer screen. At least Alex and Bennett weren't the only two hard at work in the middle of the party. No wonder Alex hadn't wanted to stick around. It wasn't much of a party. She came up behind me, a stack of pizza-filled paper plates in her hands.
"Lucian,"
she said, causing him to look up.
Bennett's working on getting transport. We should have the reindeer back in the city by midday tomorrow.
I'll notify our client. Cross scribbled a note.
Bennett said Mr. Smith may have to drop the charges in order to get the reindeer returned, or else the police may keep them in evidence lockup.
I'll see what strings I can pull, Cross said. Once you have transport arranged, call it a night and enjoy yourselves. Alex took a step back.
That's the plan. I'll pass word along to Bennett.